Hello, everyone, and welcome to D2C Dialogues. Today, we have with us Sudarshan Gangrade, founder and CEO of Baho Foods. An overview of Baho Foods. At Baho Foods, our mission is to bring healthy, low-carb food options to 100 million Indians and help them achieve a balanced diet and lead healthier lifestyles. We believe that everyone deserves access to nutritious meals and are passionate about setting a new standard for healthy eating in India. Our low-carb offerings, rooted in Indian food culture, addresses the over-indexation of carbohydrates in the Indian diet and its impact on metabolic syndrome, obesity, and diabetes. Our founder, Sudarshan Gangrade, saw the positive impact of low-carb eating while running a boutique health consulting firm and started Baho Foods to make healthy choices easier. Welcome to D2C Dialogues, Sudarshan.
Thank you. Great to be part of this.
So, Sudarshan, a quick introduction about yourself, and can you share the exact moment where you got this spark that I have to start Baho Foods? How did that happen?
So I started. I've done multiple stints. I'm an engineer and MBA, and worked in multiple types of companies: traditional sales, marketing roles, government, analytics, marketing analytics, P&L roles, all of that. I worked closely with entrepreneurs and I wanted to start something on my own. So I started this company called Lean Science, which was offering diet and fat loss consulting. Did that for about a couple of years, built it into a very successful boutique consulting firm. But I wanted to create a larger impact. And as part of Lean Science, I really understood the science of the body, nutrition, food in a lot of technical detail. And one thing that became very evident to me is that India is the diabetes capital of the world, cardiac risk capital of the world, kidney, retinal issues, cataract, all of those, right? Fundamentally, a lot of these trace back to the fact that our food habits are very heavy on carbohydrates. And there's enough science that I understood, and now it's proved also that reducing carbohydrates overall can have a tremendous impact on a lot of these lifestyle diseases. So that really became my guiding mission when I realized. And I think food is probably 80-85% of the contribution. Right? The rest of the physical activity and lifestyle comes there, but fundamentally it's food that can alter that. So that's when I decided that I wanted to build a low carb food product line, because that can be scaled to 100 million people. A services business, you can only scale till a certain level, right? So, which is why that's really how I got into it.
So when you selected the health and the food industry, what was the main criteria for you selecting this, apart from finding out that India is heavily dependent on more carbohydrate related foods and less on the protein and the fat part?
So one thing is very clear: food is the largest impact on health. Right. So, and our food habits are heavily over-indexed on carbohydrates. So, which is why I wanted to tackle providing low-carb food options in the Indian context. So that's really why I chose food, because it can have the largest impact, and within that, low carbohydrate, because that can have the largest impact on these lifestyle diseases. That's how the combination of the two came together.
So now that you had decided that, let's get and venture into the food business, what was the initial thought? Because you don't have a background of food, and you are going to create products which are food products. You are a tech, a consulting, a marketing kind of a genius, but not at all a food oriented person in terms of marketing or manufacturing. So how did this start now, once the idea was conceptualized?
So it started exactly like a lot of the startups that are venturing into something unknown, literally in a garage. So the thing is, when we decided to get into it, there were no such products, right? Because Indian food habits mein low carbohydrate foods ka concept hi nahi tha. It just doesn't exist, those products. So we had to create from scratch. So I actually, with a nutritionist and a food technologist, we took up a flat. And we literally, in the mornings, we would formulate a product afternoons mein we had in fact one of our friends cooks. We told them, "Acha, afternoon mein aap aa jana और you cook this for us." So if you're formulating a flour, right, then usse roti woti bana ke so that we can touch and feel and see how the roti comes out. Or if we are making a particular namkeen, so they can make those namkeens also. Because we had to see if such a product can even be built in the first place. Because most of the Indian food is based on carbohydrates, right? So you have rice, you have maida, rice, atta, rice flour and besan. I mean, these five effectively constitute the base for any and every food in India. But if you want to build something low carb, you can't use any of them. Alternative use करके still delivering the same taste and texture is a huge challenge. Which is why we said, okay, let's just first see if we can build it out. So almost 6 months ago, we were doing that only. So that's how I kind of figured out and did it. But I think the fact that I did not come from this background helped me because I had no idea. तो मेरे को लगा ये तो कर सकते हैं अगर सोच मतलब अगर ये बनाना तो ऐसे ही करेंगे. Later on when I started interacting with a lot of the food industry people and then I said ऐसा ऐसा हो रहा है हमने बनाया है तो I think without giving them context they felt कि ऐसा हो नहीं सकता. So I think if I had come from that background or I had got someone else from that background, maybe I would not have been able to do what I did.
So now that you had got the flat, got the food scientist and started, doing trial and error, obviously you must have done some sampling as well, of your products. What was your first product that you created?
So like I said, morning we would do the test formulation. Afternoon में वो बनता था छोटा सा batch. And evening में there was a WeWork here where I had membership. I would go to the WeWork and every evening WeWork के में snacking के time पे मेरे snacks लगते थे. And so that was literally how we sampled. So every day this cycle would happen for days and days and days together. My first set of products was atta and namkeen. So one particular namkeen, a mixture is what we were trying out. So these were the two products that we tried out. Why? Because staples is obviously the largest volume category in food in India. So which is why atta had to be there. And on the snacking side, I wanted to go after the Indian savory snacking specifically because that's what Indians are used to. I did not want to get in. When I was starting this off, everyone was making a lot of starters making all those new age fancy foods like bars, cold pressed this, and all of those kind of fancy foods. But I was making mixture bhujia, right? Same mixture bhujia, that kind of thing. But in a low carb healthy form. That was because I was very clear that that's what India consumes at scale. And that's really the market that I'm going after.
Now that idea was conceptualized, flat was taken, food scientist came, sampling was done. Now what was the next step? When did you realize that now is the time to go all out? And how did that happen?
So after this, we started by listing online, started to put, push our products on a little more through the standard e-commerce channels. And over a period of time, we started to see and leverage some of the other e-commerce channels. The Cult Fit, Eat Fit was starting at that point of time. So we worked with them to list our products there. So we started to get a lot of feedback, fine-tune the product. So almost 6 months further was spent on fine-tuning the product, getting feedback from e-commerce channels and our own website consumers. And then I think we finally, officially launched in a much bigger manner. So we then raised our first seed round of funding, and then we went out and built did our first round of the proper official launch.
So you started as a D2C brand and then ventured into the physical part of it?
No, so we did not, because we were working in a very specific niche, very ultra low carb keto kind of product line. So we were not really starting off with the offline retail. We started off more with the online retail.
So currently, before we move ahead, what would be your operations be? Where all is Baho Foods available and what kind of products would be there?
So we are available on our own website. We have 3 different brands: Low, Protein Chef, and Diabetes Smart. So we are available on our website. Each of the brands has their own website. Apart from that, we are available on all the e-commerce marketplaces like Amazon, Flipkart. We are also available on the quick commerce like Zepto, done Zepto, Instamart, all of them. And in offline, we have begun to do some work in offline retail. We are piloting in Bangalore. So now we are also available in some of the Bangalore stores.
Okay. So now that you said you got the funding and then you decided to go all out, and obviously being a digital first brand, how did you start? Tell us something about the supply chain part, and how did the customer respond, initially in the initial phase, and then obviously you must have done heavy marketing to get more customers. Just take us through that journey.
So surprisingly, we did not do much marketing. So as a startup, and even so marketing is obviously, acquisition is the biggest place where most of the startups spend money. In our entire history, I don't think we've ever spent more than 14 to 15% or max 18% as marketing spends. And the reason for that is we were going after a very specific niche. So we were talking to the niche segment directly, and we had built products that are probably the best in class. So today, if you go on Amazon and you search for anything related to keto, you search for keto atta, keto flour, keto snacks, keto namkeen. I mean, you put any keyword related to keto, we are Amazon's choice. And you must be knowing, right? Amazon's choice is probably the most prestigious tag in e-commerce. And the fact that every single product of ours gets Amazon's choice is a testament to the quality of product. And you get that tag only when you have very high ratings and repeat and volumes coming in. So I think a lot of our, most of our, customers are through word of mouth and repeats, and that's why our marketing spend has rarely ever gone above 15-18%. So most of it is, because we have extremely high repeats, extremely high word of mouth, and that's been the trend from the beginning. So we invest in packaging. We invest in some social media piece, but we've seen and we've let, and we'll invest in performance marketing, but we've let the brand otherwise organically grow with a very, very strong and loyal set of consumers.
Can you share some of the marketing campaigns or tactics, any memorable one that has, helped shape the brand today?
Yeah. So for example, our keto food product, one of the things we did was we did a live challenge. So we did a 21-day challenge where we opened it up. Some people decided to come in, and because we are so confident of our product and its ability to, help with improving health and reducing weight, that we said, okay, we'll just supply you 21 days. 21 days, you keep publishing what you are eating and do a live video updates and see what comes out of it. And I think that was very good because it was completely unbiased. You would just send the product. It was all being done live. It's not that, we do it beforehand and then we only play the good parts. It was literally done live, and, people could actually see in 21 days transformation and almost 4 to 6 kgs loss of the people within the 21 days. And just by eating a product and otherwise continuing with the regular lifestyle. So I think that was something, you can't get a better proof than that.
So currently, if I ask you, where would the dollars be spent from a marketing perspective? What would be the main objective of your marketing now?
Performance marketing. So like I said, I have 3 brands. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So like I said, we have 3 brands. One of our brands, the Low Foods, which is a keto brand, is fairly established. So most of our marketing money is spent towards performance marketing, which is at the point of sale, just to ensure that we get the best ROI bang for the buck. For our other 2 brands, the new brands that we're launching, Diabetes Smart and Protein Chef, there a lot of our spends are directed towards brand spend. So building the brand, building the social media presence, driving awareness, visibility. So a lot of our money is getting spent there, along with performance marketing. So overall, the split would be, for our established brand, almost 90% is performance marketing. For our upcoming brands, almost 60% is brand advertising and 40% is performance marketing.
So you have got a unique model of, operating both cloud kitchen and packaged foods. Can you discuss how did you manage this dual distribution model efficiently?
Yeah, so I think that's probably one of the most underrated or understood, model why we built it out. Because for people it is like, "Arey, ye kya business? Kitchen bhi chala rahe ho, ye bhi chala rahe ho, too much hodgepodge." But see, if you're building a D2C brand, there are two biggest challenges that you have. For a D2C brand, one is market customer acquisition that takes up most of your spend, and second is distribution, right? That really constitutes the biggest, very, very large part of where your money goes. Now, every single D2C brand you are interviewing with or speaking to, right? Every single brand is advertising on the same keywords on Amazon, advertising on the same set of people on Instagram, right? So you can go and look at, I think 50 out of the 60 brands would have exactly the same targeting. So much so to so much so age band, interest in so and so, interest in so and so, right? So, every single brand, be it a unicorn like Boat or a startup in Bangalore, right? Same targeting. Which is why if you look at the cost per click and the acquisition cost. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, please carry on, Sudarshan.
Yeah. So, which is why if you look at it, the cost of acquisition on Google through keywords, Instagram and Amazon is out of whack, completely unsustainable. But what people don't realize is Swiggy and Zomato probably have the same, if not more consumers coming on their platform than even Amazon and Flipkart, and more frequently. Swiggy, Zomato pay literally twice a week everyone is going, while on a Flipkart, Amazon, maybe twice a month they are going, right? And the other thing about Swiggy, Zomato is that most of the brands there are unorganized, right? Mom and pop restaurants, individual restaurants, right? So they don't really have the marketing mindset or the sophistication of marketing there. So what happens is it is the same consumer set, which is on Instagram, which is on Amazon. They are also coming on Swiggy, Zomato, and but the brands that are playing here are unorganized brands. So if you come in with the same sophistication and do it here, your acquisition cost is ridiculously low. And when I say ridiculously low, I mean it when I say ridiculously low. Right? And this I'm talking about the time when Instamart and all of these were not there. I'm talking about before that. So what was happening was,
yeah,
I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So one is the cost of acquisition is for us a fraction. Where most brands operate in a few hundred rupees, if not thousand, we operate in tens of rupees on that platform. Right. So that is very cheap as an acquisition cost. High visibility, same keywords being searched. So very high visibility. Brand recall shoots through the roof. And the other thing for a new brand always is sampling. I mean, all retailers, if you put merchandise promoters, you try to get sampling done. Sampling kya hai? Aap live khana khila rahe ho. I mean, that's what you're getting people to do. That's exactly what we're doing on Swiggy, Zomato. People are trying our products, but paying us for it, by the way. So, people get to experience the brand, sample the brand, and so overall, it helps us serve many purposes. Sampling happens, very low cost of acquisition, and my products can reach a customer in literally 20 to 30 minutes. So in a sense, it's my own distribution channel also that I've set up at very, very trivial cost. So that's why we chose this route, and it's worked very, very well for us.
So this, in the continuation of what you said, how do you differentiate yourself from the competition? Because there are hundreds of brands. Some of them have definitely, risen to an next level of customer acceptance as well. And you rightly mentioned that everybody has the same parameter for digital marketing, performance marketing. Now, if the parameters are same, the dollars are spent are equally same, more or less the product features are also same. How does Bao Foods, differentiate in this scenario?
Two ways in which we differentiate: the product features and taste. So, our products are very, very functional in nature. So, we were among probably the first brands ever to publish all our test reports online. This I'm talking about 4 years back. We would test a product and publish the test reports online. And we build for a very, very specific. So we deliver a certain amount of carbohydrates or protein or fiber or all of that. In fact, just to give you a sense, our diabetes range, DiabeSmart, is India's first clinically tested food brand. See, it's not a medical product, but it's a clinically tested food brand. So it's been tested on diabetics, pre-diabetics, because it is so precise in terms of the nutrition it delivers. It's not like a generic brand that says diabetic friendly, low GI, but there is no effective measurement of whether it has that impact. We've actually clinically trialed it on diabetics, two clinical trials. So so that's how we differentiate. Our products are extremely functional and they deliver the benefit. They don't just talk and try to play general game. They actually are measured to deliver a certain benefit. That's why our repeat and retention rates are probably the highest in the industry, because nobody else delivers the same. In fact, I'll give you again a sense. Most of our competitors also source from us. So that's the level of quality of our product. So it is so far ahead in the game that even our competitors source from us and then they sell it. So that's the strength of the product that we build. The quality and the effectiveness is so far ahead. The second thing is taste and texture. I'm very particular. I am from Indore. Indore is you would know, right? The street food among the khane ke mamle mein Indore is among the we are all very obsessed about it, taste and texture. So that's the reason why every food of ours is extremely very close to the original, and it's very difficult to build functional foods that are high on taste and texture, and that's where the effort and R&D goes in. But that's really our biggest differentiator. Food आप कितना भी अच्छा बना लो nutritionally, but if it doesn't taste good, it will never scale. So that is something that I have been very particular from day one. And as functional as they are, but until they are extremely high on taste and texture and close to the original, we don't release the product.
So functional side of the product as well as the taste side of the product, and you don't negotiate on the taste part of it. I think that's what the Indian consumers or any consumer would like to have. If it's a tasty product, then it automatically sells. Obviously, it has to be healthy. My one question that arises here, Sudarshan, is you mentioned that even the competition sources from you, and that's something which is the testament of the fact that the product quality is extremely high. Has any pharma or other such FMCG companies approached you to source or for any other tie-ups, etc.?
So we are exploring multiple partnerships. We actually work closely with many hospitals now. So some of the hospitals also source for their consumers who are diabetic from us. So in that sense, our products have that kind of strength, and we are hopefully soon we'll announce, but we're getting into very deep and large strategic partnerships with large health players also.
That's awesome. Now coming back to the industry, there are what significant changes have you seen in the food and especially the healthcare side of it? Because in the post-COVID, the consumers across the globe as well as India have become very health conscious. Where do you see the industry going from here?
So I'll talk about two broad ones. One is specific to diabetics. And you would have seen the plethora of products that are coming into diabetics. COVID ke time pe one very, very big thing happened, which was, the biggest comorbidity, in COVID was diabetes. Right. So as tragic as it was, but diabetics would, before COVID, they were okay ki chalo sugar thoda kam kar denge, dawai kha lenge, and kaam chalta rahega, right? But I think there was a massive, literally a fear that came into diabetics. And that's why this entire diabetic product lines and diabetic reversal has become huge, because diabetics now say that, look, I don't want to live with this, because now they're realizing what is the impact it can have beyond just lifestyle. So I think that would have otherwise taken 2 or 3 decades. I think it happened in 2 years flat. That was a huge change for diabetics. Overall, I think general preventive health has become a big piece. And the other trend is in terms of preventive health in general, because people want to say that, look, we want to consciously, rather than be reactive, we want to be proactive. So I think trend towards preventive health. And the other part is on the supplementation side also. I'm seeing a lot of trends on the supplementation and nutraceutical side also. Not just in terms of generic health, like better protein, more fiber, and better. Yeah, I think that's those are some of the key trends that I'm seeing on the health side.
Now, coming back to the funding part, how has the funding that you have received in December 22 impacted the operations and growth plans for Low Foods?
So the funding has been very helpful for us because it's we've grown significantly since then. And more importantly, the new product lines we've been able to launch the new product lines, get them to a certain stage of scale, and so that now they're set for a much a trajectory where they can become a lot more mainstream. So overall, I think growth was the focus for us with this funding, launch of the new product lines and growing them, and I think we've been very successful on that front.
Many times, the relationship with the investors influence the strategic objectives of the company. Has that happened here in your case, Sudarshan, or how has it affected positively, if at
all? No, actually, the current investors, because we were very clear what we want to do in the next 18 to 24 months. So the investors who signed up for it knew exactly what we wanted to do, and that's really what in that sense we are both aligned in terms of where we want to take the company. As a investor, there is obviously discussions that happen with respect to specifics, and that's important because you brought in someone not as a mute spectator, but as someone who can actively, because they interact with hundreds of brands on a daily basis. So if anything, that larger macro perspectives and risk mitigation is the other piece I think that they've really been help us out with. So overall, I think the partnership with our investor has been very, very positive. And the way we are growing, I think they are also very happy with the way their investment is panning out.
Good. Now, what's the way ahead? What are the primary goals for Bauer Foods in the near future?
So for us, the clear growth is to grow the new brands that we built out, improve our distribution, and build on a lot of our partnerships to be able to take our products to the next level from a integration with other large brands.
And how do you plan, on achieving your goal of impacting 100 million Indians?
So that's where our two new brands, right? So we started with the keto range, which is a niche one, right? So maybe addressing a very small niche, but the two new brands that we have, one is Diabetes Smart. So diabetes is officially 2 weeks back, if you saw the news, we've crossed 100 million diabetics officially, and probably another 150 million who are pre-diabetic. So that's 250 million people who are diabetic or pre-diabetic. Then we are also talking about so our product line directly addresses that, and we built it at a price point and in a manner that is very accessible to a large part of that audience. So apart from that, our other brand, Protein Chef, that's about taking, India is 70% protein deficient, one of the most protein deficient countries, and we built out a product line that is built for the Indian food habits. So if you look at most of the products that are there, right? And a lot of the new age D2C brands, they're basically copying the West. Somebody's bringing in whey protein in this flavor or that flavor, protein bars and cereals and mueslis and all of that. But in essence, they are copies of the West from a food habits perspective. What we are building out are protein solutions built for the Indian food habit. So for example, we have a high protein atta or a protein mix for atta. So you add 1 spoon of that in atta and it makes the roti, it delivers almost 1 egg worth of protein. Obviously it's vegetarian, but that's how we want to solve the Indian protein deficiency. which is through going after the Indian food habits of roti, sabji, dal, chawal. We built out a protein bread where one slice is again equal to one egg worth of protein, obviously vegetarian. But that's how we are solving for the Indian protein problem. So this is again an audience that runs into hundreds of millions of people. So overall, I think these two new product lines helps us address market sizes that are very, very large. So together between them, these three brands should be able to address the larger mission of 100 million Indians.
Sudarshan, how many cloud kitchens are you planning to expand in the next 12 to 24 months?
So we have 16 cloud kitchens currently. Till a month back, we had 15. And in the low carb space, we are the largest player in India, the largest low carb cloud kitchen company. We probably have 95% share. And now we are expanding. In the next 2 months, we'll go from 15 to 27. And once we stabilize that in this coming quarter, we will expand to another 35 and overall 50 by the end of the financial year. So through this, we will be covering all the key cities. Mumbai just got launched last week, and we'll then enter into the next set of cities as well. So hopefully by March 2024, we should be able to have 50 kitchens covering all the key top 12 cities in India.
Now, how does expansion into offline stores and potential reach to the customers fit in your long-term vision?
So scaling to 100 million Indians means we have to go offline. There is no doubt in my mind. And especially products that we are talking about, the diabetic product, the diabetic consumer is typically 45 or 50 plus. They are shopping offline primarily, right? So that's why, our diabetic range, even our current protein range, because we're talking about protein atta, all of them, the consumer is on offline. They are buying the atta from the local store. So I think these two new brands are going to be offline heavy, and that's how we are building our organization as well.
Sudarshan, with this we come to the last round, and that is known as the rapid fire round.
Achha.
I'm going to ask you some questions, and you'll have to answer it as rapidly as you can. So here is your first question. What is your favorite Bao food product?
The bhujia.
What is the most memorable customer feedback you have received?
Many, but just 4 days back, one of the largest food companies, they run catering, one of the largest ones, they messaged me, called me to their office, and they were talking, I think in that one meeting, at least 12 to 15 times he was talking about how grateful he was that we built this product that helps a diabetic lead a normal life. And I think apart from this, the number of consumers that we have who have lost weight, we are a product company, so you don't get to interact with consumers, right? As much. Services may you talk to consumers every day, but I think innumerable the consumers who talk about how their life has transformed, even though we are running a pure product company. But yeah, the most recent one was this, where one of the largest, if not the largest, Fortune 500 company folks called me, and they were talking. They were just talking about how grateful they are for our products.
If you could collaborate with any celebrity for an endorsement product, who would it be?
We work with Huma Qureshi for our keto line, and that's worked wonderfully for us. So, I couldn't have asked for a better celebrity for that particular product line. I have two additional product lines, so I'll definitely think about them also.
Okay, nice. If you had to describe Bao Foods brand personality in 3 words, what would they be?
Scientific, informative, accessible.
Scientific, accessible,
informative.
Okay. Imagine Bao Food as a magical potion. What special powers or benefits would it offer to those who consume it?
Longevity,
exactly. If you had to sum up the taste of Bao Food products in a catchy slogan, and no need to give a slogan, but something that again you can think about it.
Khao to jano.
Okay, khao to jano. Okay, that's nice. If Bao Food hosted a food Olympics, which product would win the gold medal for the most energizing one?
Our protein chef atta.
Okay. Second last, name one of the brand you see as your closest competitor.
We've actually built products that don't exist, but eventually, I think Ashirvad would be a key competitor for us. ITC Ashirvad. Eventually, I mean, we are too small right now, but we operate in a niche. I'm sure they will come at some point of time.
Can you please answer in numbers? Where do you see Bao Foods 5 years down the line?
I think the markets we are going after, 5 years from now, we expect us to be a 800 to 1,000 crore turnover company.
Awesome, Sudarshan. We thank you for joining us today. Being a 1,000 crore company in next 5 years is a very ambitious target, and you have got all the resources, strategies to achieve that. Thank you, Sudarshan Gangrade, founder, CEO of Bao Foods, for joining us today at D2C Dialogues. Thank you very much, and all the best.